Good morning. This is the innovation conversation. How you doing, Tom?
Good, Kevin. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Pretty good.
All right.
Today what we wanted to do is preview a little bit the technology track that you and I and Michael Sansolo will be facilitating at the National Grocers Association convention in Vegas, um, almost exactly a month from now. And one of the things that's going to happen is there'll be some so-called general sessions, but then we'll be breaking up into three different tracks. I'll have one, Michael will have one, and I'm going to have a little FOMO because I'd really like to be in your track, listening to what you're going to say, because you're going to be talking about e-grocery 3.0. And sort of our logic behind this was that, e-grocery 1.0 was everything that happened before the pandemic, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then 2.0 was when everybody sort of went into warp speed during the pandemic to respond to the challenges and the demands of the moment. But now 3.0 is sort of the idea that people now can sit back a little bit. They can see what worked and what didn't work. There aren't the immediate demands of the pandemic. There's still demands competitively, but the demands of the pandemic are not there. So they can sort of reconsider what they want to, I think what they want to be in terms of e-grocery. I mean, I think that's a pretty fair way to look at things, how things are right now.
It is. Yeah. I mean, like you said, well, I mean, before the pandemic, it was all about, getting the basics of the basic in place, with which was usually some kind of, monolithic traditional e-commerce system. Then you had, usually store-based fulfillment, some level of delivery, but really basic capabilities. And you had, low but rising adoption. And then the pandemic, when everybody was forced home, right, we had the surge, and you had, obviously a big response to that surge. Like we had to have, technology that was, a little bit more configurable. We had to evolve our fulfillment infrastructure. We tested micro fulfillment nodes. We did delivery, we did store pickup. We tested a lot of things, and then we started to dabble a little bit in some more advanced capabilities. And then now in 3.0, in the age of, a fully empowered consumer that has, or shopper, right, that has technology in their hands, that is exposed to retail media in a lot of places, that is expecting more from the retailers digitally, and is really expecting the shopping experience to just kind of intertwine, right? The digital experience and the physical experience to intertwine. Walmart called it adaptive retail, which I think is a nice way to capture it. What does that mean for e-grocery now?
Yeah.
And how are we going to respond from a technical standpoint, from a business model standpoint, from a customer engagement standpoint? And then, we're going to have a panelist of tech providers, and we're going to talk to them about how they think about the evolution and how they think about evolving their tech platforms to serve this, dynamic and, ever advancing, ever changing market need.
Yeah. I mean, when I set it up as saying that there's not as much pressure, and I sort of regretted the words when I said it, only in the
I can
sense
see that.
that one of the things that we talked a lot about during the pandemic was how retailers were innovating faster than they had ever innovated before because they didn't think about it as innovation. They thought about it as survival.
Exactly.
And that the real challenge would be, and I think continues to be, maintaining that sort of mindset and a sense of urgency going forward. I mean, it's not like if you don't get it done tomorrow, you're going to be out of business. But Walmart is, with their adaptive retail, we saw, and all the different things they're doing. Amazon, while it's having its troubles in physical retail, I mean, it's still killing it when it comes to e-commerce. And at some point, it's going to grow I mean, what the numbers are like, Walmart's got 30% of the US grocery market, Amazon's got 3, but I don't think it's hard for Amazon to get that to 6, let's say,
Mhm.
um, just in e-commerce without, forget physical retail. I mean, I think that's a reasonable goal for Amazon to have. Actually, my argument has been, I think, and we disagree about this a little bit. My argument has been if it focused relentlessly on e-grocery and got out of the physical business, other than Whole Foods, it actually would almost be more focused. But that's a subject for another time,
Right.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I
Uh,
think, yeah, there is, I mean, clearly they have, tens of millions, tens of millions of customers, if not over 100 million customers
right.
that shop grocery products on Amazon today, and the vast, vast, vast majority of that business is delivered just like anything else that you buy from Amazon will be delivered. And as they build out their fulfillment network with more in-market nodes where you can do more same day and next day delivery, um, customers can serve a lot of their grocery needs via the traditional Amazon mechanisms. If you add to that what you could get via Whole Foods, and then, Amazon still, and I agree that they should still continue to try to get the store format right, just because there is a lot of customer need for that physical format, to go visit today, to touch things, to smell things, to serve needs, kind of more presently. There's a big opportunity for them to get that right. Right today, yes, a sliver of their business is physical. If they get physical right with everything else, they have a chance to, boom and, maybe not quickly get to Walmart level shares, but certainly have the right to get to Walmart level shares. And, from a grocery 3.0 standpoint, that's one of a few, threats that are out there. And yes, like in 2.0, when we had to respond because customers demanded it from us, we couldn't get that number of customers through our stores, because of distancing and what we needed to do. We couldn't, expose, our teams to, to that environment. We had to respond with more advanced capabilities. So there was this, sense of clarity and sense of urgency. And I think that, there's still retailers are still well served to have a sense of clarity as to, where they want to go, or at least a sense of curiosity of, what they want to try to build toward. And yes, I agree. It's not an urgency that if we don't have this right, next week, then we're going to lose customers to the store down the street. But, if we don't get it right in the coming months and, just few short years, we could find ourselves, on the outside looking in to customers that have moved away from us because we weren't where they expected us to go.
And it's interesting because while there are the retailers have to consider these questions of competition, on your panel, you're essentially going to have 3 competitors, right? Who are all competing in different ways for different pieces of the e-grocery business to become service providers to retailers. So it'll be really interesting to see, while obviously you have to pay attention to the law, there's things you can't talk about, but how they position, how they see themselves serving retailers and what they think the opportunities are. We should say none of them is Instacart. We deliberately sort of chose
Yes.
non-Instacart companies because for A, Instacart did it in 2023 in the tech track, and B, we wanted to get a series of different flavors.
Yeah, there are three platform providers. So they provide the basic e-commerce platform. And then they all have slightly different takes on their approach to the platform, their approach to expanding the platform, and different add-on services and kind of how they're positioned. So I think it's going to be interesting to have the perspective from the 3 of them. And I really don't know. We haven't had our pre-meetings yet, so I've talked to each of the companies, relatively extensively just through the course of business.
Right.
And they're all having success. But they're all definitely faced with, the changing market right now. And I think they have 3 different approaches to that market. So it's going to be interesting to have them all on stage and hearing, their various perspectives on the market opportunity and how to evolve.
And in the same way that retailers are facing consolidation, I gotta believe we're gonna see consolidation in that space as well.
I think you have to.
I
mean,
don't
is
think
there
you're gonna,
really room?
may not be able to create any deals right on stage, but
Right. But
have
is
a
there really
chance.
room? Right. Is there room for six? I don't even know how many there are, 4, 6, 8, 10, grocery e-commerce platforms. And I mean, you just look at the size of the market and say that there's 100 addressable grocers. There's probably more than that, but just say there's 100 addressable grocers in the US. Does that mean each of their markets, potential is, 5 to 10 total customers? Like it's hard to make a really scalable, growing, enduring business, on a small customer base like that. So in fact, it's probably even one of the questions we'll ask is what they're, while they can't talk specifically about their specific consolidation strategies, kind of what their viewpoint is on industry consolidation.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it'll be really fascinating in the sense that I mean, you say there's 100 addressable grocers. I mean, there's a lot more grocers out there, but everybody's
Yeah.
going to be going after the same 20 or 30 who have
Yeah.
the scale to
Yeah.
make it work.
Yeah. I think there's probably like 100 that are like over 800 million, and clearly that's not to say that if you're an operator and frankly at NGA, we're going to have a lot of operators that are smaller
Right.
than that. And, there's certainly, a number of providers out there that do address those, those types of retailers, and they'll be in attendance at the show as well.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
All
it's gonna be really fun.
So everybody knows it's Sunday, March 10th, the National Grocers Association show, the Technology Innovation Track, which starts at 10 a.m. in the Caesars Convention Center. You'll be there. Michael Sansolo will be there. I'll be there. We're gonna have great panelists, and I'm really looking forward to it. But we'll have at least one more innovation conversation between now and then. So
Absolutely.
all right, listen, thanks a lot. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Kevin.